There could be a new faction, nudists in space. So,
Yeah, that's true.
It feels great to be nude in nature, but can you imagine being nude in space? That's the ultimate.
Yeah, if you could breathe, if you hey,
you
personal atmosphere,
freeze.
that's
Oh yeah, personal atmosphere.
That's what that's for. So you can be nude in space.
Welcome to episode 14 of Starfield with Normal People. My name's Duane, and I'm here with Michael. As always, Michael, what's happening, buddy?
Yeah, I got to say, we both had busy weeks, and it took us a couple days to get to the podcast. I have to tell you, my life is incomplete without this podcast.
It is. The whole time, and both of our lives were insane this week. The whole week, I was just like, when can we record? That's the thing I really wanted to do. Like, this is the most exciting part of my week, honestly.
I love it, yeah. But, I'm very happy that we're recording now and getting it out to the audience. And I also have to say, regarding the audience, our Discord is popping.
It is popping. I like that word. It sounds like a disco in the 70s. It's popping, baby.
That's right. It is insane. I love it. And I wanted to tell people on the podcast now that essentially the Discord is an extension of the podcast. Mm-hmm. So it's really fun to have people in there, and we're there, we're active. I'm maybe sometimes too active when I should be, doing other things. I'm in the Discord talking to people. I love it.
I'm the same way. I jump in there. I'm like, what do I do? Like, I uninstalled TikTok. So now I'm like, I'm going into Discord.
Yeah.
That's my new TikTok.
That's the new thing.
Thank you.
But this is like so much better. So we've got people in there talking about, talking about Starfield. I want to say, because this is a Starfield podcast, there's a lot of Starfield discussion. It's not just for that.
Spider-Man 2 is our other main.
That's our other main. So many threads on. So much to talk about. But I want to just highlight real quick, one of the fun things that happened in the Discord this week was that people were sharing their selfies in game, which we're going to get to because that is part of the Starfield Adventure Club. So we'll get to that later. But we'd started to notice a trend that it's so funny to get what we're calling a death stare from an NPC. Mm-hmm. So we had a Discord user actually, say, oh, we should get a thread of NPC death stares. And you know what? We did it. So
we brought it to the people. I actually think that's one of the more fun, I was going to say subreddits, but discussion topics in Discord. So
it's so funny.
Thanks for adding that. And who was it that asked for the death stares discussion?
That was Baza Hadro, an active member in our community.
Right on.
Who suggested that. And great suggestion. And we've got it there now. And it's so funny. It just makes me laugh.
I've been wanting to get into the game and go back to the first time I really saw that, which was in, one of the little storefronts in New Atlantis. I walked in there and this NPC death stare as I was trying to carry on another conversation with a different NPC. I got to find that same one, see if I can recreate it because it was unsettling.
I just love, it's like, you just want to go like, what is your problem?
Right.
Okay. I'm just living my life. What is your deal
quick
with
save.
Me?
Break out the shotgun.
Quick save. Oh man. There's some characters in there that I definitely had to do that with.
Yeah.
Have you done the Crimson Fleet?
Instead of doing all these quests, Michael, I've just been going in and doing this Starfield Adventure Club stuff. So going from planet to planet. And of course, this last time was selfies. I don't have a solid selfie that I wanted to put in the Discord. Did you upload one? I didn't.
I uploaded one to kick it off.
Okay,
but then we got so many great selfies from the community, and even as always, some great stories from people. Mm-hmm. This week we will be going to a location again.
Yeah.
So last week was the only time that we didn't. We were trying something new, and everyone everyone loved the selfies, but at the same time, it was missing a little zhuzh of not going to the same planet together.
I like that we mixed it up a little bit, but I'm happy to be getting back to the planet exploration. And you actually posted kind of a how-to with the camera tool, like get your arm to make it look like a selfie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was clever.
It was really nice too to post that, and then immediately I saw people kind of using some of those tips, and it was really fun.
Should we roll into some news and community items?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've got to talk about the elephant in the room for the video game awards,
the GOTY nominations.
Yeah.
So here's what got nominated, Michael. Baldur's Gate 3, which was, pretty obvious, kind of a given in my world, definitely, because I've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah.
And what else?
So we got
Should we even mention
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that one.
Alan Wake 2, which I personally am very excited to play.
I am super excited for that. Yeah. I have, upon your recommendation, I have the original Alan Wake, and then I have, American
Nightmare.
Nightmare, have that one. I still have not played them.
Yeah.
Because this year has been ridiculous for video games. But then, Alan Wake 2, what else is in there?
Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
I have no idea what that is because I'm not like 12 years old. What is it? It sounds like
funny.
Sounds like typical Nintendo. Like we're making games for 12-year-olds.
Here's the thing: it's a new Super Mario Brothers game. That's all I know. I know that they make good games. I know that adults play them, and so it's like.
I'm not hating on Nintendo games. Don't get me wrong.
No.
That was
I thought that was a very funny joke.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean, like I said before, love the Zelda series. Love Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
Honestly, haven't played much after Super Mario Brothers 3, the original. There's about 50 games I need to catch up on.
I'll say this, like Super Mario Brothers, like those games, like I have a Switch in my home. I barely play it. I believe that they are good games. I believe that they're well designed. It's just not for me, or at least like I have so much on my list.
Definitely.
I would play Super Mario Brothers if I didn't have like a bunch of other things that I want to play first.
Both have kids. So when we want to play video games with our kids, there's plenty of this kind of fare to break out.
Yep.
And then we save the adult games for later.
Yeah. And to round off that list, also nominated for Game of the Year was Resident Evil 4 Remake and Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, Nintendo showing out on the Game of the Year awards. So.
Yeah.
But they're not going to win, are they?
Well,
wait, it hasn't been decided yet, right?
It hasn't been. No, okay. That's happening in December. I think I'm the only one amongst my friends that actually will sit down and watch the Game Awards.
Right.
I enjoy it.
I can't take the awkwardness. It is so awkward typically. Like there's an entire YouTube channel devoted to remixes of past Game of the Year awards. Just like how awkward.
You know what's funny? It's getting better. It is getting better, but yeah, there's still that awkwardness. Like there's still there's a wall that the video game community hasn't broken through to. I don't know.
You have these kind of out of touch media people trying to cool it up. It's just kind of the opposite of what video game culture is, which is very down home, it's almost punk rock in its truest nature. Like it's do what you want to do, play what you want to play the game how you want to play it.
Yeah.
And then you get this kind of juxtaposition of horrible. I mean, people that are good in front of a camera, they don't have time to play video games, right? Well, they're like who was the guy in American Idol?
Although David Harbour,
like he would be, but he's not going to host, right?
I mean, right.
They need someone like
he's a
David Harbour who's chill and can get up there and interact with gamers.
That would be amazing if they got David Harbour to host the video game awards.
Then I'd watch. I'd be in.
Yeah. Well, and so it's funny because like you compare to something like Golden Globes and Oscars, and actors are just used to being charismatic in front of the camera, all that stuff. And then you get like video game developers. Well, I'm actually, and I'm not saying anything bad about video game developers. They're just not public speakers. They're not actors. And I would even compare it to the Oscars, when the difference between when an actor wins and when a musician wins for best soundtrack, or when you get the special effects winners or whatever, and they get on stage, it starts to feel a little like the video game world.
And we've both done probably more public speaking than most people, just because of our background,
just because of what we
and it's hard.
It's hard.
And you hear this a lot. It's literally one of the scariest things for people to do is to speak in public. So it's it does weird things to your body. I mean, so I understand it.
Yeah. So who is going to win? I think we both. I think we know. It's Baldur's Gate, right?
I think it is. I think it's Baldur's Gate, hands down. This game, even though, and I do want to touch on the fact that a lot of these are sequels, and that's one of the reasons why Starfield maybe didn't get nominated, is because it's a new IP and it's not quite there in terms of presence in people's minds, but also in the development of the game itself, it's not quite up to par. But getting back to Baldur's Gate, I mean, it's a spectacular game. It's my go-to game to play right now.
Yeah.
Other than Starfield. I mean, I can't wait for Xbox players to get it because it's going to blow your mind, Michael. I think you're really going to love it.
Yeah.
It's a completely different game than Starfield. Like Starfield is a completely different game. But Baldur's Gate does role-playing and D&D so well. Like, I always wanted to be into D&D. I have like the starter kit. I did it with my son. I played D&D tabletop with some friends who were really into it. Never quite, made that kind of jump to get into my brain and say, this is super fun until now. Like now I'm totally into it. I got the like Dungeon Master's Guide from my neighbor because I'm like, I want to find out more about sorcerers. I mean,
and you know that I have played D&D a lot.
You were an excellent DM. Like
I was a DM. I had a group. And it just ended up getting to be too much time. Like
it's a part-time job.
It was because you would do 3 hours on the night that you're playing. But in addition to that, I was spending 6 hours the day before prepping.
Right. 6 hours prepping? My God.
Something like, that it was basically like if you don't have anything else to do on a Saturday and that's your hobby and don't get me wrong, I loved it. Like it was so fun, but it just takes up too much time. So Baldur's Gate kind of lets you. The game is the DM, basically.
Exactly.
So
it takes all the work out of DMing, which is always a challenge to get somebody like you. I mean, not everybody has a Michael in their community that can orchestrate a great playthrough.
Yeah. So was Starfield robbed?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it was. I think it should have been on this list because of the scope and the breadth of this game it's just massive. And what you can do in the game is massive.
Yeah.
It's up there with anything in this list. I dare say there's at least one of the Nintendo games you could have taken off of this list. To be fair, I have not played them.
Yeah.
Just knowing that, I mean, again, I'm biased because I'm in a Starfield podcast, but I still think it's a massive game.
I do too. Here's the thing is that the fact that a Bethesda game is not on the list blows my mind because Bethesda games come by once every, at this point, 8 years.
Right.
Like a new single player Bethesda game. So every 8 years they build a massive universe for you to explore and there's all this stuff. To me, that is Game of the Year material.
Right.
Spider-Man
2 is
Spider-Man 2, like it's
tiny.
Great. It's great, but it's finite.
Mm-hmm.
It is like a 20-hour game that you play. It's an action game. You play it and it's done. And maybe it does that very well. So maybe it's not about...
And how much of it was based on Spider-Man 1 technology.
Right.
Like firsthand, when I worked at a boutique studio in Los Angeles, we took our game engine that was for Fantastic Four. Guess what we did? We slapped Pirates of the Caribbean on top of it and released it on PlayStation.
Just reskinned everything.
Yeah, it's basically reskin, and we
You're on a boat
in
now.
a few new levels, and bam, there you go. So I'm not saying that's what they did with Spider-Man 2 necessarily, but clearly to have a short turnaround, you're using a lot of old technology. However, I mean, Bethesda, to be fair, they're building on their technology too.
Yeah,
right?
They did use the Creation Engine. Mm-hmm. They are calling it Creation Engine 2. It's kind of funny because I'm obviously a fan, big Todd Howard simp over here, but definitely when you see the same bugs, like with the guards missing their clothes, as I've seen in Skyrim,
right?
It's
10 years ago.
It's a
Bethesda standard. It's a bug that's been around.
I kind of go, yeah, you say it's a new engine, but
You know what's nice about these kind of bugs is I feel like they now know how to fix them quickly, right? Because like, oh yeah, remember guys when this happened in, Skyrim.
Right.
Remember it was,
that's true.
This caused this to happen. Yeah.
That's the silver lining of that. I wish it was on this list. Like Resident Evil 4 is amazing. I haven't played Resident Evil 4, but I've played just about every Resident Evil up until Resident Evil 4. Right. I just haven't gotten to that one yet. They have been doing an amazing job.
That one should be on the list. Alan Wake should be on the list. Spider-Man 2 is a great game, but should it be game of the year?
It's kind of, Alan Wake 2, even though I'm trying to keep myself non-spoiled, from what I hear, it is doing amazing creative things that no one's ever seen before in a game. So that, to me, yes, you should be on the list.
Yep. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Like the original Alan Wake was, I wouldn't say it was it was definitely a hit. It was kind of like didn't make that much money in the theater, but on DVD it killed. It was that kind of thing, right?
It was because they released the same week as Red Dead Redemption a long time ago, and they were an Xbox exclusive.
I didn't know that.
It got buried when it first came out. I didn't play it when it first came out. I got it later, and I was like, "Whoa, this is one of my favorite games of all time." But I still chose Red Dead Redemption when it first came out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, how could you not? Because coming off of Grand Theft Auto, I mean, you're like, this is GTA, but in a Western.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
we all called it GTA on horses.
Yeah. You mentioned the Starfield soundtrack in the notes. Was that nominated for an award?
It was not.
Okay.
So
what happened there? Because that
seems insane to me.
This is the best video game soundtrack I've heard, I don't know, in a long time.
It's interesting because I'm torn on it, because half the time I feel like I'm not noticing the soundtrack in the game. But maybe that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because it melds so well into the gameplay. And so I will say my one qualm with it is leading up to the release of the game, when they would play that Starfield theme,
right?
I was like, maybe it was hype, but like that theme made me nearly emotional. Like it was like such a beautiful piece of music. Now I wish that when I booted up the game, I heard it more. It's that opening screen of like Starfield, it's so like sort of muted and subtle, which is cool. But I think about Fallout 4. When you start Fallout 4 and you hear that theme kick in and it's sort of booming, I'd like that. I almost wish there was an option to have that Starfield theme boom in my speakers when I start up the game.
Have you just sat there on the opening screen and let it fully cycle? Because I did that and I didn't realize that the sun moves out from behind the planet and moves across the screen and out of frame again.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually really cool.
That's cool.
So if you sit there for 20 seconds, you'll see the sun fully move out. I do love the Fallout 4 intro, and I love that theme of Fallout 4. There's something special about this one for me personally, because I do like subtlety.
Yeah.
And just something about like simplicity and minimalism with the black, the white, the logo. I love it. And the music.
Yeah. So. You know, that is something interesting I think about the game that I think is throwing a lot of, like Starfield, that's throwing a lot of people off, is they chose subtlety in a lot of areas. Yeah. And so yeah, that's interesting. You mentioned something to me about flamethrowers.
I just want one in the game.
Yeah.
Like, man has always been on a quest to have fire and then put it over there. I want to put fire. I stole this bit from some comedian I remember, but he was like, man wants to put fire, 50 feet over there. And thus they invented the flamethrower. Flamethrowers would be great, especially in space. Like, we've seen blobs of fire in some more modern science fiction. It'd be really cool in like a weightless space station or whatever, to see like your flamethrower, how it would react in space. It would shoot out like globs of flame or something. I don't even know. It
See,
needs oxygen to burn, but it would have to be like a
yeah.
napalm like substance. But
Yeah, that'd be a cool opportunity for them to show something that's never been done before, which is like because the flamethrowers need the fuel, and would that react differently on like in a weightless environment,
or just have it to where it works as a normal flamethrower on a planet with an atmosphere, and then you go to try to use it on a planet without, and you're like, well, what happened?
Yeah,
And then you're
it
like,
doesn't
oh,
work.
okay,
I would say, and a flamethrower would be like if they added one, that would be a great opportunity to add a new big bad enemy too, like
Definitely.
an enemy type that is
like
maybe
Starship
like
Troopers, the big bug that shot the flame out. Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Because right now we kind of have terrormorphs, and then there are some planets that have some more dangerous creatures on it. But overall, the main like bad enemy is the terrormorph. I
Right.
would love to see some new thing that's very dangerous and that you have to build a flamethrower just to compete against it.
Right.
That would be cool.
And bazookas too. Like we're using a lot of weapons based in weapons that we know. It's kind of this NASA punk theme carrying through. So ballistic type weapons. That's what we have here now.
And lasers.
Where are the railguns? Where are the bazookas? Where are the projectile air to air missile type stuff? And I don't know, like
true.
There's
the closest
a lot.
is we have the grenade launcher. So that's the furthest. So if you're kind of doing an explosives expert build, that's kind of all you've got is the grenades and the grenade launcher.
There's a lot they could have done or they can do with weapons. Let's hope that they really dive into this area, like bigger enemies and crazy super futuristic weapons that are realistic, like could be Earth future weapons.
Yeah.
Speaking of proving things, I saw, I think it was a Wired video. Todd Howard revealed the exact number of people. He has 250 team members that are actually working on Starfield post-launch.
Like post-launch, which is a massive team for a game that has been released.
It really is.
This makes me so excited and hopeful for what's coming. And it supports what they said. They said that they want to support this game for 5 years. And that just tells me that they're serious about it.
Absolutely. We're in a very competitive year this year. 2023 has been unreal for video games. So the competition for Bethesda is extreme this year, probably more so than most years.
I was going to say that when we were talking about them getting robbed at Game of the Year, it's just been such a big year for games.
Definitely. I would say most games don't even have 250 people normally working on a game. 250 is probably like a pretty good size boutique studio. Not your EA, not your Rockstar. Like the one I worked for in LA, there was like 250 employees in a little office building, and we're pumping out a video game, right, over a 2-year period. So for them to have 250 people, as well as the rest of their studio working on maybe Elder Scrolls or something like that. Todd's not going to let this game go down, as a mediocre game. I think we're going to see continued improvements. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, this game has been so interesting to watch it release because to me, it hits all the right buttons, but it has not hit all the right buttons for everyone, which is fine. Whatever. It's not a game for you. Don't play it. But, I do see them building and building and building. And like this game is, already good. To me, it's already good, but it's going to get amazing.
For sure.
When are we going to see that first DLC? You were saying maybe Christmas. December. You think so?
Yeah, I'm thinking holiday season. So 2 weeks from now, potentially.
Cool. Yeah, it's got to be soon. I'm going to guess that we get a tease in December.
And then release in February?
I think, let's see, the game came out, what was it, September? But basically, my point is that I think 6 months, they were saying that probably about 6 months would be the first DLC. I am excited. I'm definitely one of those people that I don't like it when people say mods will fix the game because the game is fine. But I will say this, I have only one more achievement to get.
Oh my goodness.
I
Okay.
have, yeah, it's actually been that way for a while now. I hit all
10 ships.
all the.
You still haven't fixed the ship bug?
Oh, can I tell you
Yeah,
about
tell
that
us, fill
fix?
us in.
Okay, so the ship bug. So this is a bug that a lot of people have gotten, where somewhere along the line of the game, ships will start landing, but nobody gets out. You can't get in them, and it's very annoying. However, that bug also created another bug at the same time. Any starborn ship that lands, also people don't come out. However, those were normally locked. You couldn't get in those. Now I was able to just grab any one of those that I wanted.
Little happy accident. A bug that opened up a better bug.
So don't get me wrong. I don't like dealing with those bugs, but when I had like 8 ships left, or I had 8 ships out of 10, then I realized I could just, anytime a starborn ship landed, I could just get it. And then I had 9 ships and I got the achievement. So hey,
Congrats.
there we go. So I finally started New Game Plus, and one of the things that I maxed out in my skills was planet scanning, like botany and zoology. So what's nice is, before, if I started a new character from scratch, I would have to scan like 12 animals, 12 plants.
Right.
I only have to do 4. So yes, I have to scan the planets again, but it's so much faster.
1/3 by my calculations. It's 1/3 as much work.
Yeah, not only that, but I also have been putting traits into, or skill points into, the planet
Proctology?
scanning. I think it's like astronomy. Basically, what it means is, when I scan a planet from space, I have like a 50% chance for it to reveal one of those, when you find a special, like a fungus, or what's it called? A planet trait, basically.
Oh, okay, right.
So usually you have to like run around the planet to find one.
You have to go into caves.
Yeah.
No,
No.
not caves.
Yeah, I have a 50% chance of it just highlighting one from space.
That's a beautiful thing.
So yeah,
honestly,
I like that.
Yeah.
So my point is that, like, people are focusing on what they lose when they go New Game Plus, but I just say, well, I've started new characters before, and this is similar to that. It's not exactly the same, but
is it evident when you're gonna make that choice?
Yes.
In the game, so you could stall and just continue to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So without spoiling it, the game makes it so easy for you to know.
Plus, you can always go back to the earlier save.
You can.
Yeah.
But it will go to great lengths to make sure that you know that you're starting a New Game Plus.
Should we get into our main topic?
The thing that I definitely wanted to talk about this week was making money in the game. Actually, that ties into what I'm talking about.
Can we talk about how to do it in real life first?
Well,
buy low, sell high.
As soon as
no.
It's something like that. As soon as I find out, I will let you know.
Okay.
But this making money is an important topic, and it brings me back to the New Game Plus thing, because in my first game, I was getting to the point where I was rich, right? Because after you play a long time, you do a lot of missions, you're doing this, doing that, selling stuff, you end up with a ton of money. In fact, I see it's funny to me when I see people complain, this game economy is broken because I'm rich. And then someone else is like, man, this game economy is broken. I can't make ships. It's too expensive. And it's funny when people say they're rich. I'm like, then go build ships, because it'll be gone real fast.
Exactly. You can spend so much building ships. It's ridiculous. But I've never focused on money in video games. So I've never been necessarily good at it, because I generally don't care.
Oh, yeah,
until when I need it. And then I'm like, okay, now I got to go out and figure the least resistance to make some money so I can add this to my ship. So
and the thing is, like I was saying, like, you get rich at the end of your main game, but if you go New Game Plus or start a new character, that's what I've been seeing is, I'm like, oh man, I've got no money now. Like I do not have enough money to buy this, buy that. So I wanted to talk about, how do we make money in Starfield?
First, tell me, before you researched anything or looked into it, what was kind of your go-to method? So getting some little cash in your pocket.
Well, I was doing the Skyrim method, which was you go and you drop off stuff and sell things, and you take missions.
Which is very cumbersome. Right? It's not the smart way to do it necessarily, because that's what I do generally, which is like the natural way to play the game.
That's what I was doing, but that does not seem to be the best way to go about it. I think then after I was doing like main missions, I started to notice that as you do main missions, they kind of drop you a good amount of cash.
Right.
That and what we'll say like, bounties and those types of things, right?
Sure.
I saw an amazing tip, and before we get to that, because that's what I'm so excited to share, I went to our Discord.
And polled the people.
I polled the people.
Our wonderful Discord members.
I asked the Discord, how do you like to make money? First off, what Space Cadet wrote the console command for, it was like player add item.
Step one,
it's like 1 billion credits.
Press the tilde. Open up the console command.
They did say that they were joking, but
what else did he say? He said that he has a mod that cheats it so it doesn't disable your achievements if you do a cheat through the console.
Well, and that's what's funny, right? Is people say, "Oh, well, mods will disable your achievements," and it's like, "Oh, well, there's a mod for that,
right?
to there's an app for that." Them, yeah. Well, we had Linman New Delhi saying that their favorite way of making money is just stealing a pirate ship and then taking it back home and selling it. Mm-hmm. They know it's not the best or fastest way, but they love boarding them and then flying the ship away.
Wait. Can I interject? Yeah. Does anyone else have lost ship anxiety if you do that? You steal a pirate ship, take it home, sell it, and then my ship is gone. My other ship is gone. I'm not saying this happens. I'm just saying I have anxiety about that.
Because your other ship will sort of like, so they basically
I don't like
fly
to park way out, like, in a parking lot sometimes because I'm afraid I might lose my car or something. Yeah. I think it's like that or something. I don't know.
I think you need to talk to somebody about this.
Do you cover lost ship anxiety in your program?
I'm very pro therapist. I think people should talk to a therapist if they need to talk to somebody.
Sure.
So can we get special therapists that specialize in video game anxiety?
That's how you make money in real life. Right there. I think we found the way.
That's our next podcast, Video Game Therapist. Mm-hmm. Here we go. All right. Hold us to it. Come on. Our Discord. Hold us to it. Mm-hmm. We've got to do Video Game Therapist. We'll figure this out together. All right. We had another tip that was very interesting from Worst Action Hero. Mm. Now, they do mention that this could be an exploit, but it also could just be a game mechanic. This is wild. So Worst Action Hero says you land on a high XP planet. So you go high level planet. Mm-hmm. You look for things that are going to kill you in the middle of this. So I guess like having enemies around makes a difference. Basically, they build an outpost beacon and then they build a bunch of weapon cases. Okay.
Oh, I've seen this exploit. It is an exploit for sure.
Okay.
Right. And then
because then you quick save and then you load the quick save.
And they all have weapons inside.
They've all got weapons inside. So you would call this an exploit.
I have an alternate way to do this that isn't an exploit.
Yeah.
Instead, do like the animal husbandry thing where you can spawn animals and then build a sniper tower in the middle and then climb the tower and shoot the beasts for XP.
Taking them out, fishing
and they're spawning like constantly. So, I mean, you can rack up. That's not necessarily making money, but it's a similar idea XP, that doesn't like rely on code, like exploiting the code.
Yeah.
I mean, is it fun for you? Go for it. It still requires effort to place all these cases out, and it's kind of when I watched the video on it, I was like, this is pretty cool. Like,
at the end of the day, go for it. It's a single player game, so it's like go for it. I agree. It's like I'm such a role player that I would probably do things that are more realistic in the game world. So GM mentioned the selling the ammo trick that he had mentioned to us that we talked about last.
He kind of clarified a little bit on that, right?
Yeah, there were some more details.
Yeah, so check that out. Go on the Discord. We're not going to do the work for you.
Go to the.
You want to know what it is? Go find it.
Honestly, like the Discord could be the entire podcast.
There's a lot.
There's so much going on that I'm like, wow, like the podcast could be this week in the Discord, but yeah, we're not going to do that. Ser Solis mentions that Freestar missions are that the ones that ask you to destroy a pirate captain in orbit of, X planet.
Reoccurring. It's the same mission that you can do over and over, right?
You can do it over and over again. Those are super fun. So they put weapons on to disable the ship. So of course, if you do electromagnetic weapons on your ship, you can disable their engines and board them.
Yep.
So
you can also just blow them out of the sky and then loot the junk which usually has credits and stuff like that on it, right?
So they will disable the ship, board. This is Ser Solis. They'll take contraband, undock, and destroy the ship while in targeting mode. So that's interesting. They'll board the ship, grab everything because there's contraband on those ships, and then they'll get back out and they will blow it up. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's like the double dipping thing.
Yep.
Kind of get a little bit of both. And Michael, you had an excellent tip that you came across that sounds like Grand Theft Auto a little bit, right?
Yeah, so they're calling it the Chop Shop. So this is very interesting, and I just found it very exciting because we all know that the vendors and the technicians, they only have a certain amount of credits, which first off, just so you know, the technicians have like around 72,000 credits or something like that.
Sure.
If you go to like the Teo shop or the Stroud Eklund, the showrooms, they'll have like 160,000.
Nice.
Credits.
Okay, that's a good tip right there.
So that's already a good tip. So just so you know, you have to go a little inland. You have to go, to those shops. They're on Neon actually is where those showrooms are. However,
those are the flyover states.
Sure are. However, this is really cool. So here's a place that has no limit on credits they can spend, and that is in the ship builder. Now, what this person on Reddit posted by Oddball, they will take a ship, they'll steal a ship, they'll register it, then you can go into the ship builder and strip it for parts. Now, if you don't know, when you're in the ship builder, it will show you like how much you're spending to put those things on. But if you are replacing a part with a less costly part, you will actually make money.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this.
So you part it out and you can literally get all of the 160,000 credits that vendor has by parting out a ship?
No, it's even better than that.
Okay.
In the ship builder, there's no vendor. It's just like
it's just the ship builder.
It's just the ship builder.
It's its own thing. Yeah.
It's its own thing, and it's sort of like
endless credits, basically, is what you're telling me.
It kind of is. So basically, you have to strip it down to a functional ship. So you can't just sell all the parts and be done. You do have to end with a ship that functions.
Right. So you need the cockpit. You need what's the opening lane?
Yeah, you need the grav drive and you need a reactor. Yeah.
Right.
So you need basically that. You strip down the ship to just the bare minimum, and then you can still sell that ship. So you've made money in the shipbuilder, and then you're going to make money selling that tiny ship.
See, I could do that. That actually sounds like fun, quite honestly, because it's almost like a mini game.
Yeah.
Because you still have to have an in ship, so you can't just like take everything apart.
That's so funny to me because I agree with the mini game. Because I like being in the shipbuilder, but most of the time that I've been in there, I've been building bigger and better, and like, how much power can I have? How much firepower can I have? You don't have to put weapons on a ship. You can have a ship with no weapons. So going the opposite route and stripping a ship down, like to me, that is, it sounds fun. And you're just looking for the cheapest parts.
Think about this. Just the shipbuilder alone, this game should have been in competition for Game of the Year.
Oh, I
mean,
agree.
That's one tiny part of this game. And look how robust it is and how many things you can do with it.
Yeah.
It's It's crazy, man.
It's such a shame.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's the money-making tip that I wanted to share because there's no limit there. And then when you're selling that tiny ship, it's only going to be worth so much. So you're not, they definitely will have the credits for it.
If people are looking for more money-making tips, they should just go hang out in our Discord in the discussion thread.
Yep, we've got a discussion thread that's essentially just for Starfield outside of the Adventure Club.
Planet of the Week.
All right, I think we should get into our Starfield Adventure Club.
Absolutely.
So last week we did not go to a planet altogether, but we did selfies, and the response was so great. It's so funny, and
there were some bangers in there, Michael.
There's some bangers.
Ain't gonna lie. There's some great ones.
So we're gonna go through and react to some of them, and we are going to pick one, which is so difficult, picking just one. But one person this week from our Starfield Adventure Club is going to win a Starfield Adventure Club mug that we are going to send out, and that is courtesy of our friend Space Cadet. Space Cadet put up the cash.
He did indeed.
For these mugs.
Thank you, sir.
So we can all thank Space Cadet. Let's go. We've got, what do you see first?
The first one I like is the Bazahadro. Am I saying that right?
Bazahadro,
He just posted one. It's simple. He's in a bathroom, and he's got like the pose where you got like one knee up and kind of he's sitting on the floor. It just made me laugh because it's, there's a lot of really fun ones with amazing vistas, but this is like in a bathroom. So it made me chuckle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at Olivier Le Pirate. Le Pirate. Is he a pirate maybe? And, he asked, was there an SAC episode where people had to visit Groombridge? Because if not, it should be in the list. And yeah, I've been here before. You got these big like chicken dinosaurs. But Olivier posted a picture of him standing in front of a bunch of murdered fauna. So he's been busy.
I also like the Cherry Bomb RN. There's a really cool photo, selfie of they're kind of floating on this planet surface, this ice ball. And there's a neat shot of another planet behind. So shout out to Cherry Bomb RN.
Yeah, and then I'm looking at this one from Scotty. So this one kind of made me laugh, and it was a nice twist. They actually they had the camera so that it looks like Andresia's taking the selfie, and that their character is sort of standing in the background. And then it was sort of a sad moment. They started quoting the arms of the angels.
Sarah McLachlan.
Sarah McLachlan. I have to say these little bat creatures are cute. And this is, I am campaigning, please, Starfield, give us the ability to adopt a creature.
Definitely.
I want that.
There's so many good ones. We don't have time to mention them all, but definitely, once again, jump in the Discord and read through. You have to scroll back to like, last week, 11, November 9th, kind of start there when Michael posted his first selfie and go down. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah. So I'm going to just special mention two more. Number one, GM. Mm-hmm. GM got a selfie with a massive explosion happening behind
I forgot about that.
It's so good.
Cool guys never look back. What was the
look at explosions.
Yeah.
Well, Duane, I've got my favorite.
Okay.
I don't know.
Lay it on me.
Let's talk about this.
Sure.
Slappy 92, 1110.
Okay.
Slappy's got a beautiful beard and handlebar mustache. Made themselves look nude. It's just chest up. It's a very tasteful.
Sure.
It's a very tasteful image, and I believe that they are on a moon, atmosphere-less moon, and they mentioned that they nearly died trying to get this shot.
I see it.
It is a beautiful image, and it is my favorite of the week.
That is hilarious because I think we've all done that thing where like walk out onto a planet with no helmet and you're like, and you're like, you get the little warning that's like, you're supposed to be wearing a helmet right now. Like that'd be helpful toward your health. 2 more seconds and Slappy 92 would have froze to death.
Yeah.
So there could be a new faction, nudists in space. So, I mean,
that's true.
It feels great to be nude in nature, but I mean, can you imagine being nude in space? That's the ultimate.
Yeah, if you could breathe, if you personal atmosphere,
freeze.
that's
Oh yeah, personal atmosphere.
That's what that's for. So you can be nude in space.
Well, I agree with your choice. So I think we got to award Slappy 92.
Oh, right. Yes. I'm so excited.
A coffee mug.
This is our first week giving the free coffee mug to the winner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited. So Slappy 92, congratulations. Yep. But everybody, like, your pictures just brought me so much joy.
And for next week, what should we do? Oh, we got a great suggestion from one of our YouTube comments. Right?
Yep. Yes, we have a comment from Tentacle Pawn. That name makes me laugh.
That's a great name.
Hey guys, been listening on Spotify at work and really loving the podcast. Having got a good feel for what you two seem to enjoy in the game, I think I may have found the perfect planet for the Nest SAC destination. And they did mention Groombridge 8A.
Hey.
Now, Olivier had mentioned going, so that's interesting. But yeah, I believe
it's like Groom Lake here in Nevada. You know, the Area 51 testing ground is on the Groom Lake, Groom Lake.
Spooky stuff happening. So it's a moon in the Groombridge system, which is directly up from Cheyenne on the star map.
Okay.
And they said, I don't want to give anything away, but it's definitely my favorite planet so far. I did a little sneak peek.
Oh, you did?
I went there and I agree.
With your NG plus. Excuse me. I'm still level 25 over here. So.
Yeah. You know what, though?
NG0.
Can I say that I really like that we have, we've got you on the podcast as somebody who is taking it slow, taking it easy, because we do have a lot of people writing in to our podcast and commenting that they love that we don't go deep into spoilers, that anyone can listen to this podcast from any level. So I really think that
except NG10. If you've gone that far, then you're looking for the highly analytical.
For you. There's nothing for you here. Get out of here. Yeah. Just kidding. Come grace us with your presence.
With your starbornness.
Yeah. So that is where we are going. So just reiterating, Groombridge 8A.
Yeah, jump into the Starfield Adventure Club Discord and tell us what happened when you went there or when you're going to go there. Give us the details.
When I went there, I took a picture that I am so freaking proud of that I've been waiting to share with
post it in the Discord right now.
Starfield Adventure Club.
any further until you post it.
I'm going to post it, and I'm going to probably make it the thumbnail.
Crazy dude riding a unicorn?
No. Yeah, so...
All right, I think that wraps it up for this week's episode of Starfield with Normal People. You know, we have friends of the show, which are what we're calling like contributors. So if you do love the show, you can go on our YouTube channel. You can do, what's it called? A super
We've got super thanks,
like
and then we've also got our membership.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone that listens on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And if I was Michael, I would say, Google Podcasts is going away. We have to mention it every show.
We might not even need to mention it at all.
But yeah, and thanks to those watching on YouTube. All links are provided in the show notes below.
Yeah, and an extra special thanks for comments and feedback and anyone participating in the Discord. And if you do have a comment or suggestion to make, hop on in and or leave a comment on our YouTube page. We also have Spotify comments as well.
Yeah,
which,
I love the Spotify comments.
Read. Yeah, we read all of them. We publish them. Mm-hmm. And so it's really nice. And what?
And make bed sheets out of them.
Yeah.
To bring it back.
Also, you can support the show by just buying merch. So we've got merch for normal people and for game tourists and the Starfield Adventure Club. And we've had some people in our Discord showing off their new hats and their mugs. And
stickers.
It's so much fun to see it. Yeah.
If you like the show, consider dropping a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That would really help us out.
Absolutely. Thanks for traveling the Starfield with us, and make sure you subscribe because we will be back for more next week.
See ya.